top rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of at a trendy party.
Carter is being held here in connection with that fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night.
I mean, that's a serious crime, and Un really got up. I believe he was twice. I think I remember the doctors telling him if he wasn't such a big guy, the knife went in enough where it would have caused some major damage.
I don't want people to think that it's just everything is bounce, or can I get a hard knock life, you know what I mean? I have my dark days also.
Everyone knows that Jay-Z is that rapper who acts but hardly ever talks. And the night everyone truly found out how dangerous he was back in the late 90s, where he allegedly had a deadly confrontation with Lance Rivera over some issues.
It had something to do with some records, or I don't know if it was something Jay said on a record that Un didn't like, or it was over something being leaked.
But how did things really unfold? Stick around. Jay-Z had just released his 4th studio album in 1999, and it was evident that he was well received in hip-hop at the time. But an incident that involved Lance Un Rivera would change the course of everything. Rivera was the head of Entertainment and Un Rivera Productions, and he had also co-produced a song that was recorded for the album, which was yet to be released at the time. In fact, words were that Lance had received a shout-out from Jay for co-producing Vol 3, Life and Times, but it seemed that was not enough for Lance. So words were that Jay launched an attack on Rivera 2 hours after he had performed at the listening party at Irving Plaza.
There was a time when that whole shit happened with Un. I was in the club, Preem was in the club. He come in, he tuck his chain. I run over to him, what's up? All of a sudden the fights break out, and I see his Rockefeller nigga up Un brother. In my mind, I'm sitting there like, how come Un leaned up on the wall and Jay ended up right in front of the nigga? When I first seen it, I thought he punched him. Hit him in the chest though, the fall. And I see that thing in his hand. I grab that shit and I get him and throw him in my car.
Following further revelation, especially from employees at the Kit Kat Club, they confirmed that Jay-Z was not just alone at the club. He was actually hanging out with other artists like Ice-T, Eve, Sean Puffy Combs, and a lot more.
And then they ended up going to Q-Tip's party.
Right.
And when they walked in that party, there was a lot of people there. There was Puffy, there was Lil' Kim, there was C's, there was Busta Rhymes, there was, of course, Q-Tip.
What started off this situation that changed the mood for that night, according to some spectators of the rap industry, was that Jay-Z had felt that Rivera was illegally distributing copies of his next album, whose release date had not been made officially public.
December of 1999, Jay-Z is about to drop his album, Life and Times of S. Carter, Volume 3. And the album ends up leaking, and it's all over the place. There's rumors about who's behind the leak and so forth, and allegedly there's a name that keeps coming up in these rumors, and that's Lance.
It had something to do with some records, or I don't know if it was something Jay said on a record that Un didn't like, or it was over something being leaked.
Many believed it was this act of supposed fraudulence that stirred it all up. So Jay-Z allegedly took care of him the gangsta way. He allegedly stabbed Rivera in the back and chest. Well, it did not end there. Words were that he also topped it off by hitting a bottle on his head. Wild, right? In reality, Jay-Z was quite unhinged over the piracy of his unreleased CD, which was going for a ridiculous price of $5 on the black market. Jay-Z would later break down the situation, saying, "One night I went to Q-Tip's solo album release party, and at some point in the night, I ran into the guy everyone's been telling me is behind the bootleg. So I approached him. When I told him what I suspected, to my surprise, he got really loud with me right there in the middle of the club. It was strange. He did not stop there. We separated and I went over to the bar. I was sitting there like, no, the FF__K, this N___A did not. I was talking to people, but I was really talking to myself out loud, just in a state of shock. Before I even realized what I was doing, I headed back over to him, but this time I was blacking out with anger. According to people, it was natural for Jay-Z to have expressed anger in the way that he did. While this sect of people agreed to the earlier view, some refuted, offering a newer perspective that seemed viable. This theory was that Jay-Z and Rivera had known each other since the days when they were both mutually acquainted with the notorious Big, and it would have been considered breaking the bro code if Rivera had, indeed, decided to do his supposed friend dirty in that manner. But it clearly did not stop there. Aaron Burke, a spokesperson for Rivera, went on to make the latter theory more believable by talking in depth about the relationship Rivera and Jay shared. According to her, Rivera and Jay-Z definitely had a working relationship. They knew each other for a long time. They both grew up in Brooklyn together. She would also continue. Biggie Smalls, a close friend and business partner of Rivera and Jay-Z, worked on albums together. The whole situation was so bad that Rivera would end up getting badly hurt, so he got rushed to the hospital where he received urgent medical attention. Fortunately, he was discharged the following day. Police would go ahead to Jay's residence in Fort Lee, New Jersey, but no one was found. So another round of speculations began to fly around. Some people speculated that he had fled the scene, hiding out in the Trump Hotel on Central Park West and monitoring the press coverage. Soon after, the following day, he would turn himself in and be taken into custody at the Midtown South Precinct. He would then be investigated by the police on suspicion of assaulting Rivera. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault and 2 of second-degree assault. Regarding this, Harvey Slovis, who represented Jay-Z, has stated that his client was not responsible for assaulting Rivera. He said he was not involved, Slovis said on the night of the incident. He continued, "We initiated him turning himself in. He's a sweet guy. It's out of his nature to do a thing like this."
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
After he had turned himself in, Murray Richmond, his defense attorney, stated that he obtained a videotape filmed at the Kit Kat Club that showed that Jay-Z was standing on one side while the fight broke out, but witnesses didn't align. Many allegedly claimed they saw Jay-Z thrust a knife into the back and stomach of the president of Lance Rivera. One witness said, Jay-Z walked up to Rivera and said, "Lance, you broke my heart." Then he pulled out a knife and stabbed Rivera. There were several statements coming out from people, but a police officer with gathered information claimed that Jay was not the only one involved. According to him, a member of Jay-Z's posse hit Lance over the head with a bottle. Then Jay-Z stabbed him with a 9-inch knife.
According to Lance, he was surrounded by Jay-Z and some of his people. Jay-Z said, "You broke my heart," and then one of his people hit him in the head and then stabbed him up.
I actually walked up and I was on the ground and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm stabbed. Jay stabbed me.
Following this whole incident, affiliates of both parties expressed mixed feelings, from shock to concern, especially with the fact that everyone knew their history. Joy Brown, Entertainment's publicity director, said, "We're very surprised. As far as I knew, they were friends. They were both from Brooklyn and were comrades." On December 6, 2001, Jay was finally given a 3-year probationary term after pleading guilty in October 2001 to a charge of third-degree assault. During that time, he was not allowed to leave the state of New York without the approval of his probation supervisor. Before entering the plea, he was facing up to 15 years in prison if convicted of felony assault in the second degree. After Jay's arrest, Rivera filed a civil action against him, but they ultimately settled out of court for roughly $1 million, and Rivera never filed the suit. Over the years, Jay has remained feared in the industry. The situation with Rivera, though, did not stop him from climbing the success ladder higher. Jay-Z is one of the first names that come up when you talk hip-hop. Let's walk through his background for a bit. Sean Corey Carter, born on December 4th, 1969, is a multi-talented American rapper, visionary businessman, and record executive whose influence grows far beyond the industry. Firmly rooted in East Coast hip-hop, he has crafted a timeless legacy that continues to shed light on the path for younger rappers. In 2023, Billboard and Vibe crowned him the greatest rapper of all time, and by 2024, he secured the top spot on Forbes' exclusive list of the 50 top rappers of all time. And let's be real, that's no surprise for someone whose lyrical genius is packed with wordplay. Jay-Z's journey to the pinnacle of success wasn't a mere overnight tale. It's the product of grit, relentless ambition, and undeniable talent. From 2004 to 2007, he served as the president and CEO of Def Jam Recordings, steering the legendary label through a transformative era. But as if that wasn't enough, he turned around and built his own entertainment empire, founding Roc Nation in 2008, a company that now stands as a global powerhouse in music. Before all that, though, he was just a hungry young artist coming up under the wing of Jaz-O, a fellow New York rapper. Jay-Z officially kicked off his career in the late 1980s and co-founded Rockefeller Records in 1994, a move that would change hip-hop forever. His debut album, Reasonable Doubt 1996, and its follow-up, In My Lifetime Vol. 1 in 1997 were instant classics. And since then, well, the numbers speak for themselves. 14 albums debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200, the most for any solo artist in history. Among those are monumental works like The Blueprint in 2001, The Black Album in 2003, American Gangster in 2007, and 444 in 2017.
I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born, see through a woman's eyes.
But it doesn't stop at solo projects. Jay-Z has proven time and again that his collaborative albums are just as iconic. Whether it's the experimental Collision Course with Linkin Park, the era-defining Watch the Throne with Kanye West, or the intimate Everything Is Love alongside his wife Beyoncé, he's shown an unparalleled ability to elevate music through partnership. And when it comes to chart toppers, he's done it all. Whether leading with his own Empire State of Mind featuring Alicia Keys, or lending his magic to classics like Beyoncé's Crazy in Love and Rihanna's Umbrella.
No clouds in my stones, let it rain, I hydroplane in the thing, coming down like a Dow Jones.
Then there's the business side of Jay-Z, arguably just as legendary as his music career. In 2019, he became the first hip-hop billionaire, and as of 2024, his net worth has soared to an astonishing $2.5 billion, making him the richest musical artist in the world. From co-founding the clothing brand Rocawear in 1999 to launching the ultra-luxe 40/40ths Club in 2003, his ventures have consistently redefined success. He had also made waves in 2003 when he became the first rapper ever to snag a deal with Reebok, signing on for a 3-year partnership that marked a big moment in sneaker history. That same year, he fronted the campaign for his own S. Carter collection, which was a hit with fans and cemented his style influence in the footwear game. Later on, he teamed up with his sometimes rival, sometimes ally 50 Cent, for a memorable Reebok commercial promoting their respective sneakers, the S. Carter and G-Unit kicks. To top it off, the ad even featured a custom Just Blaze produced track, adding an extra layer of hip-hop flair to the whole thing. By 2006, though, Jay-Z's deal with Reebok wrapped up, and they decided not to renew. But his stint with the brand left a lasting impression that paved the way for more artist collaborations in the sneaker world. And when he acquired Aspiro in 2015, transforming it into the innovative streaming service Tidal, he once again proved his genius for staying ahead of the curve. With over 140 million records sold and an incredible 24 Grammy Awards to his name, tying with Kanye West for the most in hip-hop, Jay-Z's trophy cabinet is bursting at the seams. He's also bagged accolades like the NAACP's President's Award, a Primetime Emmy, and even a Sports Emmy. As if that wasn't enough, he's been nominated for a Tony Award and was the first rapper to break into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, not to mention becoming the first solo living rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Oh, and don't forget, Time named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world back in 2013. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Jay-Z isn't just a musician or a mogul. He's a symbol of what's possible when talent, ambition, and vision collide. From the Marcy projects in Brooklyn to private jets and billion-dollar boardrooms, his story is proof that the hustle never stops and the legacy only grows.